Indira Gandhi National Open University presents a program on human environment. Course code AHE01, Block 5. Listen to a program entitled Renewable Energy in Action. The presenter of the program is Dr. Shashi Kamra, and the expert is Dr. G.D. Sudha, who is the advisor to the Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources.
The use of conventional energy, wood, coal and petroleum products, for instance, in our daily lives was so much taken for granted that it is only in the last few decades we have realized how fast these resources are being depleted, the demand doubling almost every 14 years. What we haven't realized is the extent to which the consumption of conventional energy has caused damage to the environment, and more significantly, to our health. Dr. G.D. Sudha, advisor to the Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, analyzes the problems arising out of the present situation. Basically, the need for environmental friendly, renewable sources of energy.
We have been using energy from various fossil fuels like coal, oil, gas, and to some extent hydropower, which is renewable energy. Now the reserves of these fossil fuels is limited, so they may come to an end. It is estimated that the oil reserves, for example, may not last more than 50 years. Coal in India may be available for 150 years. When what next? The second is, as you said, environmental degradation. When you burn fossil fuels, you get carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, so many oxides which are injurious to health. It is injurious to your environment. Any living being, if gets exposed to these types of gases, then they are harmful. Apart from this, you may be knowing that in the upper atmosphere there is a layer of ozone. Now, if carbon dioxide goes there, it starts eating the layer of ozone, and this ozone layer is very, very important for life on this earth. This in fact protects us from exposure to large quantum of ultraviolet radiation, which is harmful to human bodies and any living being. So this is one of the reasons why we are talking of new and renewable source of energy. These are the two reasons. One is the reserves are limited, they may come to an end after some time, and the second thing is the environmental effects, which are causing very bad effects on the atmosphere as a whole and on individual living being. Now, sun happens to be the main source of energy, whether non-conventional or conventional. The fossil fuels which we have been using from ages, they are stored solar energy. The trees which get sunlight and they become through chlorophyll formation and all that, they convert solar energy into their own energy, and ultimately the fossils which we get in the form of coal or oil or gas, they are again solar energy. Now we are talking of renewable energy sources. So the main source of renewables is again sun. From sun we come to wind, then biomass, then ocean thermal, ocean wave. You have two types of in the ocean also. One, you get the tides, for example. The other one is there is a temperature difference between the upper layer and down below. That temperature difference can also be harnessed. Then you have the geothermal energy, which is energy stored inside the surface of the earth, deep into the earth. So these are some of the renewable energy sources which we are talking of today, and we are trying to harness them for the benefit of mankind.
To what extent can these limitless renewable sources of energy be harnessed for our immediate use in view of our financial limitations and the almost unbearable population pressure?
Well, India is a country. We started the work on harnessing renewable energy sources way back 1950s. At that time, even our scientists had realized the importance of these energy sources. Now today, we have an independent department looking after the interest of this important source. We have three types of programs. The first one is devoted to research and development. We are funding programs to various R&D organizations, universities, IITs, public sector organizations. Wherever R&D facilities are there, we are providing funds for developing the new materials, new techniques, new devices, all sorts of things. Now suppose some laboratory says they have developed some technology. Okay, then we take that technology to the field and we demonstrate the utility of that technology to the public and to the manufacturers. Now, side by side, we collect the data from that system which has been installed in the actual field condition. If there are some lacunas, some defects, we again go back to the laboratory, ask the scientific community to improve upon the quality of the product or material so that finally it becomes ready for mass production. Then we have the third program which is called extension program. Under that program, whatever technology is developed in the R&D programs and tested under the demonstration program, we release to the industry, and then we are giving even financial assistance in the form of subsidies to the consumers. Because this is a new subject, new technology, many people may not be knowing, they may not be ready to accept such new technology because we have been dependent on, say, electricity, for example. We switch it on and get the electricity. But how long that is be possible, that is yet to be seen. So many people are not ready to accept the new technology. So to attract the users, we are giving technical help as well as to some extent financial help. We have again a sort of two-step program. From the department, we have a very large number of scientific community which are, they are given a specific task. For example, solar thermal, biogas, photovoltaic, wind energy program. There are specific groups. They are devoted to all sorts of activities starting from R&D. Then in the state, in individual states, that is the main crux of the how do you implement that? We have nodal agencies. In fact, they are our right and left hands. We give them the technical input, we give them the targets, we give them which technology is ready for mass production, tell them, look here, this technology is ready to for large scale use, and you try to convince the people, get the projects and implement them. If you have any difficulty, you come to us. Technical help we will give you, maybe from our own resources, or we take the help from the laboratories where we have conducted research. So it's a complete sort of a family. We have research scientists in the laboratories, we have field workers from nodal agencies, we have main policy makers from the department and other organizations. And then we are involving voluntary agencies also. We are involving teachers, we are involving students, all sorts of communities we are involving to propagate the use of various new energy technologies.
For the economic stability of the country, industrialization of agriculture is primary. What then are the contributions of these technologies to our agricultural and rural economy?
There are certain technologies which are specifically useful for rural areas. For example, biogas. Biogas is based on, say, cow dung. Now, cow dung is available in the rural area. This biogas is useful for cooking, for lighting. Even one can generate electrical power using biogas. The waste material which comes in the form of slurry is a very good fertilizer. In fact, better than the raw cow dung. Its nitrogen and phosphorus and other mineral content is much more than the normal cow dung. So it is giving two benefits. One, we are getting cooking gas, and the other, we are getting good quality fertilizer. The third benefit out of this is we get a better sanitation. Normally what happens, the cow dung is collected at a place and then it is kept for 5-6 months, whereas it gets converted into fertilizer. But in this case, you have not to do that. In fact, wherever biogas plants are there, you don't see any flies. So the slurry which comes out, it is odorless. You don't find any unwanted insects or flies or in the neighborhood of biogas plants. Then the housewife says not to spend in collecting wood from a far away place, which is normally done in the villages. And you get more time, the ladies get more time, or even the men folk, they get more time. And they can devote that time in other useful activities. The other one, which is again weakest section, is chula. It's a national program. Normally the chulas which we had been using from ACES, the overall efficiency may be 8-10%. That means whatever wood, if you are consuming 100 kg of wood, you are using only in real sense 10 kg. 90 kg goes waste. Now you are polluting atmosphere. Then you are creating problems for the cook. The smoke which goes inside, that is very harmful for the lungs. It has been estimated that one day's cooking in an open type of chula is the smoke which goes inside, is equivalent to smoking or 20 packets of cigarettes. Now you can imagine what will be the effect of smoke on the lungs of the person who is cooking food. So now the new chulas which we have developed, they are smokeless, they are more efficient, you are saving wood. So it's a national, indirectly national income, and you are improving the health conditions in the villages also. So for utilizing the solar energy, there are two routes. One, you convert the solar radiation into heat, and once you have heat, say starting temperature, say 60 degree to any thousands of degrees centigrade, one can generate. So you can use this heat for any thermal application, starting from cooking of food, heating of water, heating of air, drying of food grains, vegetables, fruit, cloth, anything you talk of. Then generation of cold effects like operation of refrigeration and all that, cold storages. Then generation of electrical power. In fact, now in America, about 300 megawatts of electrical energy is being generated through the solar thermal route. The sun, the light is converted into heat, it generates steam, and then operate the normal turbine. We have also a program now. We are trying to develop install a 30 megawatt solar thermal power plant. We have done some experiments, and some systems are being used. For example, solar cooking. We are now trying to introduce the cookers in the villages. Of course, one may ask that weaker sections means they may not be having sufficient funds to buy a cooker, because a cooker costs about 800 rupees. Although we are giving some subsidy, or 150 rupees goes from the center, and then state governments also provide some subsidy. But still, it's a high cost for them. But one has to, see for them, this technology may not be useful. Of course, if you are talking of a community use, yes.
We have now a broad view of the implications of renewable sources of energy. Dr. Sudha explains some of these sources, their concepts and applications. He begins with a description of the solar photovoltaic system.
In the case of photovoltaic, we convert solar light into electricity directly without involving any moving part, anything. There are certain materials, when you expose them to light, you get electricity. So we have now large number of villages in the rural areas where we have provided street lights, television, then community lighting system for adult education. That's how these rural poor people are getting benefit out of these. If you want to collect electricity from this system, you have to make a certain type of arrangement. We call it P-N junction. There are two layers. One layer gives electron, the other layer accepts electron. So once you have P and N, junction, from that system you can draw electricity when the system is exposed to light. Although the initial investment today on photovoltaics is quite high, a complete system, for example, a 20 watt lamp for street lighting or your room lighting may cost something about 12 to 15,000 rupees. It is approximately 150 rupees to 200 rupees per watt. Quite expensive. But this technology is a technology which has very bright future. All over the world, I think thousands of laboratories are working to reduce the cost, to improve the efficiency, to search for newer materials which can give you better efficiency and longer life.
What is a solar satellite?
Well, solar satellite, one is the satellite which is getting electricity from solar panels. As I said, these photovoltaic panels, they can generate electricity using solar energy. Now, up in the sky, if you go beyond the atmospheric limit, then you have 24-hour sun. There is no end. So if you expose the solar panel, you are getting 24 hours solar light, so you are getting electricity all the 24 hours. Now, there is another concept, you may call that also a solar satellite, where one scientist by name Glaser, he has given an idea that you can generate electricity all the 24 hours using a solar satellite. You keep it, just like we have these, satellites somewhere working up in the sky, and we get our communication through those. So he said, okay, you have a solar panel, so satellite having large number of panel area, you convert solar light into electricity, then convert that electricity into microwaves, send to earth, and convert those microwaves into electricity again. So you have 24 hours electricity from the sun. That you may call again a solar satellite. So one is the satellite which is operating on photovoltaic, the other one is this one. It is in fact a solar powerhouse.
How is wind energy exploited? What is WECS?
Again, as I said, solar energy is, wind energy is also a part of solar energy. Whenever sun shines, the temperature difference is there. Because of temperature difference, the air movement takes place. That's how the wind starts, So wind energy is also related to, the main origin is from the sun. Now, once you have a moving wind, you can move a blade. Once you have a moving system, you can connect it to a turbine, you can generate power. That is how wind generators work. You have a flowing wind, and blades are there. When you expose those blades to the winds, they move, and they are connected to a turbine, and you generate electricity. This is a simple system for power generation. Now, mechanical energy. Once a moving system, you connect it to a generator, you get the electricity. If you connect it to a pump, you can draw water from underground. You connect to a thresher, your thresher will be operating. Any moving part, any mechanical system, you connect to that system, it will start moving, and you can get the mechanical energy or electrical energy. Now, in India, in fact, we started first with trying wind pumps. We have large number of wind pumps installed under the sort of R&D cum demonstration scheme. Although the total depth of the wind pumps is not very high, it is about 7 to 8 meters only. But some of the wind programs have been quite successful. Now recently we have acquired some deep well pumps where you can go below 100 meters also. So these pumps are quite useful going to be in future in areas like Rajasthan, where you have water very deep and you have very good winds. So they are being tried under the demonstration scheme, and now one indigenous company has also started manufacturing them. Now, most important use of the wind is the power generation. Today we have wind farms having generating capacity of about 32 megawatts already working in the country, and potential is whatever potential we know today. It is about 20,000 megawatts you can generate just from wind. Now, the limitation, of course, with any renewable energy, whether it is solar energy or wind energy, you cannot predict when it will come. That is the main defect. Solar also, when clouds come, solar at least you know it will be during daytime, but about wind you are not sure whether it will be in the morning, whether in the evening or midnight, you are not sure. So what happens in the case of power generation, we connect to the grid. So whenever power is generated, it is fed to the grid and it is used wherever the grid is going. So that is, one can take care of that. Same is the case solar also.
Dr. Sudha earlier mentioned the almost unlimited energy present in the ocean. What form does this energy take?
Well, there are two approaches, as I said. One is the wave energy. Wave energy is generally used for generating electricity. And in fact, we had one, although not our department, the Central Electricity Authority, they had thought of installing a 10 megawatt power plant in the Kutch area somewhere. I think the work is still going on, but you need a very specific type of topography of that area wherever you want to make use of the wave energy. The second one is the OTEC, we call it, ocean thermal energy, where you make use of the temperature difference of the different layers of the ocean. Top layer is hot, then down below, as you go below, then the temperature goes on decreasing, and the temperature difference sometimes is 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. So in this temperature range difference, you can make use of some organic, low boiling point organic fluids. You get high pressure vapors, and with the help of those high pressure vapors, you operate the turbine and you generate electricity. So we are conducting experiments, but the main difficulty is any ocean connected thing is a corrosion problem. It is a salty water. So you have to have a very specific type of materials, maybe titanium alloys, and they are very expensive. Titanium itself is not available easily. When you want to make alloy, so it becomes more expensive. So these are some of the limitations with the ocean energy systems. But still, if there is nothing, then one has to, at least for life to go on, we have to have some energy. The second one, that waves, when waves start in the ocean, you can have a sort of moving wheel, which with the movement of the waves, it also starts moving. So once you have a mechanical moving some wheel, you can convert that into mechanical energy or connect it to generator.
Is there any possibility of tapping geothermal energy in India?
Geothermal, actually in India, the sources of geothermal are very, very limited. So far, we had some in Manikaran in Himalayan region, but the temperatures are not very high. You see what happens, you must have read in your history or science classes that in the beginning the earth was a hot, very, very hot, and slowly cooled down. So that heat is still, some portion of that heat is still available inside the earth. So it is coming out in the form of hot springs. Wherever water touches that portion, it gets out, and you get either steam, depending upon the temperature and pressure, high pressure steam or hot water. What is GSI? They are trying to identify the locations where geothermal energy may be available, and they are mostly in the Himalayan regions, but not very much. So wherever these resources are available, they should be tapped to the maximum extent possible, and supported by the conventional sources. When sun is not there, okay, you have to depend on them. So by doing this, we will save energy, we will improve the quality of life also.
The Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources programs stress the creation and strengthening of indigenous scientific and technological efforts in developing renewable energy resources. In this endeavor, a major task is to provide a continuous supply of energy for industrial use. As the availability of these renewable sources, such as sun, wind and water, is intermittent and uneven. In fact, the greatest challenge that we face today is to evolve technologies based on the integrated multi-system approach to the use of various sources of energy, renewable as well as non-renewable.
Renewable Energy in Action was the title of the program you were listening to. The program was presented by Dr. Shashi Kamra, and the expert was Dr. G.D. Sudha, Advisor to the Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources. The content coordinator was Neera Kapoor. This program was brought to you by the Communication Division of Indira Gandhi National Open University.